Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of Without Remorse. This is the latest Tom Clancy novel to be adapted. This is on Amazon Prime. I think it was actually really produced by Paramount and they sold it to Amazon. Anyway, stars Michael B. Jordan as Navy SEAL John Kelly. You have Jodie Turner-Smith in there. She plays another Navy SEAL, his commander, Karen Greer. You have Jamie Bell in this. He plays like a civilian contractor, Robert Ritter. And you have Guy Pearson, who plays the Secretary, I think the Secretary of State, Secretary Clay, in this. And if you see the trailer, you know what the basic story is. That John Kelly and his team, they go on a mission in the beginning of the movie. And of course, when he comes home, John Kelly's family gets attacked and his team gets attacked. Okay, and his wife winds up dying, and he has to find out exactly who came after his team and why, why did they, what the big story. And there's this big conspiracy that he has to figure out, and figure out the who, why, and what, and where's of what's going on. Like I said, Michael B. Jordan's a good action star, but this movie is a little bit, this movie could have been made in the 80s, I think, or maybe the 90s, but probably more like the 80s and stuff. There's this big conspiracy, and he has to figure out exactly why and what's going on. And but the story, to me, is really weak. Okay, the action is okay in this, but Michael Jordan's character is kind of one note. He's like angry all the time. I think there's only maybe one scene in there, I guess, a couple of scenes in the beginning of the movie where he's not angry, but in this movie he's basically angry John Kelly. And I kind of, I'm not gonna say, his wife, his pregnant wife gets killed and stuff, so he has nothing to smile about. But he kind of plays the character. The character is kind of one note. And I think that's unfortunate, because I think this story had potential, but to me it wound up being a bunch of cliches, and the story is kind of weak to me. The big conspiracy to me is very weak and very predictable. Okay, in my opinion, and unfortunately, I think they want better. They want this to continue on as a series, but I think they're going to have to bring in better writers for this. Unfortunately, because I think the story is very weak. The action is okay in this. It's not a violence and shoot up, violence and shoot 'em up and guns playing stuff. And Michael B. Jordan does that part great. And even Jodie Turner-Smith, who plays the commander and stuff, she's tougher than she looks. But the story to me is very weak, and definitely they need, if they're going to continue this on, which it looks like they want to, they definitely need to bring in better writers for this, because this story is, one of the weakest Tom Clancy. Maybe the book is probably tons better than this movie. It's just, movie to me is, the story is just very weak and very average, and like I said, and very predictable to me in a way. Okay, I can already tell. I could tell by just who was in this movie, who the bad guy is in this movie, and I figured that out once I saw this particular person in this movie. I said, oh yeah, he's going to be the bad guy. Okay, so unfortunately, that kind of takes away points from this movie. Like I said, the actors do the best they could, but to me, this is the story's not. It's not written well. It could have been a better story. It could have been better written. Okay, so I'm gonna give this movie Without Remorse. I'm gonna give it a. Unfortunately, I'm gonna give it. I'm giving it a 6.5. I was gonna give it a 6, but I'll give it a 6.5 just because the actors involved in the shoot 'em ups are okay, but the story is very weak and very predictable. Okay, and just not up to snuff for a Tom Clancy. I expected better from a Tom Clancy novel, and it's probably not the novel's fault. It's probably the writers who wrote this. Okay, a 6.5, and definitely if they continue on with this, they definitely need to get a better, get better, different writers, somebody that can do, adapt his novel better and understands the characters and make sure that Michael B. Jordan's character is not so one note in this movie, which is unfortunate for me. Anyway, let me know what you think. Feel free to leave comments down below. I have links to my social media in the description box, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel called Views and Opinions. You check that out as well. I also have a link to my Patreon page. If you check it out, it's only $5 a month. If you want to subscribe, a lot of content on there. I'm going to update it as well, and I'm going to make a video about that. So once I update it, and take care. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.